Next we have a special prize, the Clinton Bedoni Prize for Open Systems. This award is administered by the Department of Computer Science at Auckland University, and tonight it will be presented by Ulish Bildel. Welcome to the stage, Ulish.
Tēnā koutou katoa, no German e ahau, ko Isenbügler Kopf te maunga, kora te awa, ko Tamaki Makaurau te wharewananga, kei Tamaki Makaurau taka koinga, kainga, ko Ulish Bildel tōko ingoa. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Good evening, everyone. My name's Ulish Bildel, and I'm here representing, as you've just been told, the Department of Computer Science at the University of Auckland. As you'll probably be aware, we're awarding the Clinton Bedoni Prize here every second year, and tonight's one of those occasions again. So before I go and present the finalists to you, let me tell you a little bit about the background of the prize. The Clinton Bedoni Prize was established by the Bedoni family in memory of their eldest son, Clinton, who passed away well before his time in June 2005. And if he were still alive, there's a very good probability he'd actually be here tonight, because he was a great fan of open source, and I'm told was really proficient playing around with Linux and anything open source he could get his hands on. In fact, he was so passionate about this that his family decided to establish a memorial fund after his death, and they asked our department to look after that fund. And so today the fund basically supports two different projects. One of them is the prize which we're about to award here. The other one is the Clinton Bedoni Fellowship in Open Systems Research. And I'm mentioning this here because we're about to re-advertise that. And so if there's anyone here with a recent PhD or about to be completed PhD in open systems or open source, then keep that on your list. It's a fellowship that's tenable for 2 to 3 years, so just a bit of a heads up and a bit of an advertising cameo in here, right? So basically, so far we've awarded the prize 4 times. Tonight's the 5th time, and this year we were a little bit late in actually advertising the prize, but we struck it really, really lucky. We actually got 4 very, very strong finalists. So, in fact, they left us so impressed that we had real trouble picking out a winner. So we initially thought, hey, let's go and split the prize. Can we do this? And they came back and said, no, so the rules say you have to pick a single winner. Okay, so we put a new special voting procedure in that got us to score the applicants, and even then the scores came pretty close. So it wasn't an easy choice, but we did get a winner. But what it basically means, they've all deserved an introduction tonight. So I'll just quickly, run through them. So A and Rob, so not in that order necessarily. So A and Rob works as a senior developer at Optometrics in Christchurch. And his specialty is in reverse engineering and opening closed source protocols, especially for messenger applications. And his particular contribution in this area has been to develop plugins for Pigeon, which is an open source messaging application, and also for its underlying library LibPurple. And what that basically allows open source users to do is to communicate with otherwise sort of closed protocols and closed applications such as Skype or Facebook, MetaMost, Yahoo, and Google Hangouts. He's also served as the president of the Instant Messaging Freedom Organization, a charity devoted to opening and documenting instant messaging protocols. And his code is used by tens of thousands of users. And he has actually been an NZ Open Source Awards finalist before in 2010 for his contributions to the Linux distro, which aims itself at vision-impaired users. So the second finalist on my list here is Clemens Seidler, and Clemens is actually back there. Clemens, put your hand up. Right. So Clemens is well known to me. He's a most recent Bedoni Fellow at the University of Auckland, and I played a small role in hiring him. I think I was on the interview panel, and I also I got a few references in. And his contributions are quite manifold. So he made significant contributions to the HICO operating system with hundreds of thousands of users, where he's been responsible for the operating system stack and tile window manager. And when we hired him, I got to interview him, of course, and then also talk to one of the referees who was the head of our very own physics department. And Clemens had written the Lablet software that they use there, and the head of the physics department could basically not stop swooning about it. He was so happy with what it done to their labs. And basically, in the time he's been with us at Auckland in the last few years, and he's now defected to Unitec, so to speak, he's contributed a lot to a secure, portable, and privacy-preserving storage, and we've seen this mentioned already tonight in the context of the Feijoa project, which was also shortlisted for one of the earlier awards. Finalist number 3, Dr. Richard Lobb, and Richard and I also go a long time back. He was already a bit of a legend in Auckland when I was there as a PhD student in 1994. And then when I rejoined as a lecturer, he basically stuck around for another 3 years and then did some waka jumping, went down to Canterbury. You'd think that be the last you'd hear from people who leave your university. Not so with Richard. In fact, he's had an enormous impact on our teaching ever since he's gone to Canterbury, because he came up with this little piece of software called CodeRunner. And any recent Auckland, Canterbury, or Open University graduates here? Anyone remember CodeRunner? Anyone's used CodeRunner in their education? I see a few people nodding heads. Perfect. So that's Richard's baby. So in case you don't know what CodeRunner is a piece of software that sort of plugs into Moodle, which has already been mentioned here a couple of times tonight. And the idea with CodeRunner is that students can basically solve coding problems via a web interface, and the code that they write then gets run against a couple of tests that the teachers can specify, and they get immediate feedback as to whether those tests have been passed or not. And so I looked at this around our department and to just sort of see who apart from me was using CodeRunner. It turns out there's 17 other courses in our department this year that have used it. But it's not just Auckland and Canterbury and Open University. It's spread to the UK, the US, Ireland, Canada, France, Germany, Austria, India, Australia, China, Japan, Switzerland, Poland, Chile, South Africa, Brazil, Madagascar, Spain, and Singapore. And these are only the sites that are known. So there's probably a few that are not known. So finalist number 4 is Dr. Hilary Oliver, who I hope would be able to be here tonight, but unfortunately he's not. So he's a senior research software engineer at NIVA, and we all know who NIVA are. They're the joint up the road that tries to convince us Jaffas that the climate in Wellington isn't that bad after all. And of course, to do that takes a lot of number crunching. And if you're a climate scientist or a weather forecaster, then that's challenging for 2 reasons that are computing related. Firstly, you've got to get the job done in time. Secondly, and then once you've done it, you've got to do it again for the next forecast cycle. And secondly, as you do it, your data comes from all sorts of corners. There's a bit of pressure data from here and a bit of temperature data from over there and another sort of part forecast from somewhere else. And these systems don't really sort of like to play together easily because they've all been developed for different purposes in other places, and they need to be orchestrated. And in fact, it takes an enormous amount of orchestration to do this, and sometimes systems may simply not work or they may fail and data might not come in. So, and this is where Hilary's open source package Silk comes in. It takes care of that orchestration. And it's not just used by NIVA, but as it turns out, also by over 20 other organizations across all continents. In fact, the list that we saw reads like a who's who of weather and climate giant. The UK Met Office, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Australian Bureau of Meteorology, the Max Planck Institute for Meteorology, the South African Weather Service, the German Climate Computing Center, and that's just part of the list. So basically, each and one of the finalists for the Clinton-Bedoni Award tonight has individually had a very huge impact, a very impressive impact in one or more open source projects. And for a country the size of New Zealand, together with what we've already seen tonight, that's really, really impressive. right? So would you please all join me in a big round of applause for our finalists and their achievements. And right, now comes the moment we've all been waiting for. The winner of this year's Clinton Bedoni Prize is Richard Lobb.
Kia ora. Well, I was somewhat amused to see myself described as bedrock. I'm used to being called an old fart, but the geological timescale was a new twist. There's a bit of a perception out there that software is for young people, but I would wish to argue against this vehemently. I wrote my first program in 1967, and I've been passionate about programming ever since, and I still love it. It's a recreation as well as a job, and it's kind of good to have a job that's also your recreation, although some people think that's a bit sad, but it works for me. It's a great honour to be here, I must say, a real buzz. Like I say, I've been passionate about programming, and this is a real buzz. I would like to thank my alma mater and the team from University of Auckland for being early adopters of the CodeRunner system, which helped encourage me to keep developing it. And of course, I'd like to thank the organisers of this wonderful venue and show we've got here. So yeah, that's really it. Thank you, everybody.